We're here today to talk to Barry Conley. He is also known as It's All About Satellites, providing satellite service to the campgrounds. He is an industry supplier member and has been a longstanding supplier member and supporter of the state associations in Colorado, South Dakota, and Kansas. It's good to have you here. Please introduce yourself to the members.
So I really appreciate you inviting us today to talk with your campground owners. And obviously, we are excited to let them know about what we're offering them. In this particular case would be a HD TV system for the park and for the guests who are coming through there, as well as internet, as well as digital signage. And when I mention digital signage, I'm going to bring Ted Mays, my national sales manager, in a little bit later, and he's going to talk to you a little bit about our community channels and our ability to access those community channels and ability to access the content and update it remotely wherever you're at, on your iPhone, walking through the park, or 300 miles away. So we're really excited about that as well. That's something that all the parks have kind of latched on to, the ability to be able to talk to the residents and talk to the guests who are coming through, not just about the amenities and what's going on in their parks, but at the same time, the COVID restrictions and some of the protocols and things that they have to adhere to as well. Our 25 years in business has been a roller coaster ride, but I want to tell you, as crazy as things are right now, this is actually the most exciting time to be a DirecTV dealer or to be an internet dealer and to be in this type of business. Things are changing so rapidly, and so many things are coming at us at warp speed, and we're keeping up with them all. And at the same time, we're advising our campground owners exactly where they should be positioned for the future with regards to their TV service and their internet service, because it's kind of blending together nowadays. It's kind of becoming one animal, more so than it ever has. We're one of DirecTV's nationwide dealers, and we've been on their dealer advisory council for several years. And so we've had a lot of insight as to how things worked behind the scenes, and that allowed us to shape our business a little better to service our customers, and really gave us an edge that I think some of the dealers out there in the United States didn't have or don't have today. I'll be honest with you, I would have to look on the computer behind me to come up with a room or a space count. But I can tell you that I think we're at 287 hospitality customers that we service today across the country. And they are spread completely across the country.
That's great. That's great.
Yes.
So if I had a campground and I wanted your services, how many TV channels would I be able to choose from?
Well, the beauty of the system today is that you can go with any combination of channels. And what I mean by that is the system will output within its 5.25-inch chassis 138 HD channels. But for all those folks who have those old style racks that are sitting in their office right now, it would replace 5 of those 6-foot 19-inch by 2.5-foot racks. It replaces 5 of those in 5.25 inches. We deploy it in a 3 to 5 foot rack. And from an energy perspective, it's only pulling about 25% of the energy of the old style TV systems.
Amazing.
It is.
Yeah.
It pays for itself in the long run, for sure.
How much lead time do we need? If I call you and say, give me a demo, and then I need to think about it, and by the time we go live, how much time typically passes in between?
You know, Mary, that's a great question. I'm gonna say that I have customers that call me on a daily basis that we'll deploy a system within a week's time.
Wow.
I have other customers who we're in the planning stages with. We're developing along with them the park and the cable system and the internet system, and some of those are out a year or two. But great example is we have a park over in Rockport, Texas that we're installing today over the Labor Day weekend. They called us up, let us know that they were in a battle with their cable company, and that they needed some TV to replace them ASAP because they were jettisoning them. So we're out there this weekend. We did some paperwork with them a week ago, got it all taken care of, got the system ordered, got it delivered to them. We're in there installing it today.
Is there a way where the park owner has to install it, or is it always your team?
No, with our systems, really it's our team doing the installation.
That's right.
These systems, you have to be certified in order to install them and in order to maintain them, obviously. And the software alone that you go through when you're doing your setup. Takes sometimes a full day to set up by the technician. A typical install would be, we'd come on site, obviously ahead of time, we'd have already done a site survey if necessary. When we're ready, we're going to come on site with our system, install our dish, run our cables to the distribution point and the distribution room where our system will sit. And then we'll go ahead and tune that system through the rest of the day. Usually day 2 is when we look at our cutover into the actual park itself and then start balancing the system behind it, making sure that we've got a proper signal moving from the first row all the way through the last row in the last space. You know, I do want to mention to the campground owners that we are moving forward with these new technologies. And when I say we're moving forward with new technologies, whether it's streaming TV service or whether it's in-house channels and community channels, the ability to monetize those so that you're actually making money off of an investment that you've made, or you're just wanting to communicate with the park in that sense. All of these new technologies that are coming down, we're at the forefront of it. And I can't talk about it here on our call today, which is very frustrating. But I do have limitations from manufacturers or providers that don't allow me to speak about these new things that are coming unless I'm in a private conversation.
Well, not only that, but you will be given time for a webinar later on, and we're going to coordinate that around your breaking news story. So they'll hear about
Awesome.
it. Yes, they'll hear about it soon, but not until you can talk about it, unless they call you directly and have a private conversation.
Absolutely. And I'm very excited to give live demonstrations through a Zoom type of call if need be as well, so that they can see these technologies up close and not have to just hear me talk about them. Behind me here, I've got Ted Mays. He's our national sales manager. And I really wanted him to be included in our Zoom call because I know a lot of the folks who are going to be calling in are going to be talking to Ted. And I know that he's got some things that he wants to share with them as well, as far as what's going on with the internet side for the parks, as well as those community channels or in-house channels we spoke about. So I'd like to introduce you to Ted Mays.
Well, we're more than just all about satellites. I can tell you that. They guarantee broadband to anywhere in the world, which, you know, a lot of campgrounds and RV parks, they don't have the infrastructure. They don't want to be digging and trenching up their parks. So they offer this guaranteed broadband, 25 megs per unit in a park, and it's in their contract. So that's one route we can go. Not only do we use them, but we have our own internet systems that we can apply into parks throughout the country. We have aggregators throughout the whole country that we connect with. And on the other end, we also implemented another company. They are a digital advertising company that does some great things, some really innovative things. And it all actually happens out of a little box about the size of your phone. And you can do it remotely from your computer. So RV parks and campgrounds can actually go in and create revenue by finding a pizza place or a sub shop or whatever and doing like a 15-second commercial, and they can broadcast it right through their systems, right to their customers in the campground. Nice. Or they can talk about their own campgrounds. We just got done doing one in Northern California that showed it to him. He says, oh my gosh, this is great. He's got a gift shop. He's got a restaurant. So there's all these templates, and it basically runs off the internet, and you can actually change it from your phone. You don't even have to get onto a computer. So we do a lot of innovative things as we move forward, especially with the day and age that we're in, where you're seeing all these handwritten signs. We have all sorts of digital ways to be able to make it easier for people. So A, you're not wasting paper, and B, if you need to change the message, you can change it at the, at the snap of a dime. So it's really exciting stuff here at All About Satellites.
Mary, I think the main thing that I'd like to try to get across to the campground owners is what I started with a little bit, how TV is merging with internet, how it's all becoming one. I know that most of the kids who are growing up today or who are being born today, television's not even going to be in their lingo. It's all going to be about the internet. It's all going to be a part of it. And a lot of the parks are kind of caught in the middle right now. Mm-hmm. And what I mean by that is some of the parks have cable in the ground and they're ready to go for a system that I could roll in today and deploy. I have other parks who don't have any cable in the ground whatsoever, but they do have a Wi-Fi system. Mm-hmm. And of course, then the third portion is we have parks that have both, but typically those parks have poor service, meaning, right. I'm sure you hear this all the time. The reviews are horrible because the Wi-Fi was horrible.
Right.
So really what we're looking to do is take those reviews, those stars, and move them up and make them feel like they were the best park they had ever pulled into when it came to the TV and the internet service.
Thank you again for sponsoring and supporting us and for joining us in an Industry Supplier Manor.
Mary, thank you for having me. Probably the last thing I'd want to tell them is that if they call us, we do have systems that have no cost up front whatsoever. We'll get them over there if they're in trouble and their cable company or whoever their provider is giving them a hard time. We'd be happy to jump in there and help them out.